The US President Donald Trump and his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky have held talks in Florida. Interestingly, both sides have shared optimism about the progress. According to Zelensky, the two delegations have reached broad alignment on most elements of the 20-point peace plan. That includes political arrangements, security commitments, and the follow-up steps. He also thanked US envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner and Ukrainian officials Rustem Umerov and Andriy Hnatov. What's important to note is that security guarantees remain a central element to this emerging peace plan. In fact, Zelensky has shared Trump's offer to host Ukrainian and European leaders in Washington. A meet expected to take place in January as part of the next phase of the talks.
So, in your conversation with President Putin, did you discuss what responsibility Russia will have for any kind of reconstruction of Ukraine post an agreement?
I did. They're going to be helping. Russia's going to be helping. Russia wants to see Ukraine succeed. Once, it sounds a little strange, but I was explaining to the president, President Putin was very generous in his feeling toward Ukraine succeeding, including supplying energy, electricity, and other things at very low prices.
We discussed all the aspects of the peace framework, which includes, and we have great achievements, 20-point peace plan, 90% agreed, and U.S.-Ukraine security guarantees, 100% agreed. U.S.-Europe-Ukraine security guarantees, almost agreed. Military dimension, 100% agreed. Prosperity plan being finalized, and we also discussed the sequencing of the following actions. And we agree that security guarantees is the key milestone in achieving lasting peace, and our teams will continue working on all aspects. We also had a joint productive call with European leaders, like President Trump said already, and a lot of leaders, including NATO and the EU. And we agreed that our teams will meet in upcoming weeks to finalize all discussed matters. And we agreed with President Trump that he will host us, and maybe in Washington, European leaders and Ukrainian delegation, yes, in January, and Ukraine is ready for peace.
So even as Zelensky declared that Ukraine is ready for peace, he demanded the peace agreement to reflect the Ukrainian position. Here's what the 20-point peace plan has covered so far. In terms of security guarantees between US and Ukraine, 100% have been agreed upon, and broader Europe-US-Ukraine guarantees are almost agreed. With regards to military issues, Zelensky has said that the military dimension were fully agreed. All of this as prosperity and recovery plans for Ukraine are still being finalized. But here's what remains unresolved. Despite progress on security arrangements, the issue of territory remains the main obstacle. This, as Trump said, some land may be up for discussion in the coming days, meaning differences over areas, including the Donbass region, are yet to be ironed out. Remember, Donbass is not just rich in minerals, it's home to one of the largest coal reserves in Ukraine. It remains the biggest bone of contention of the Russia-Ukraine war, because Russia seeks Donbass for strategic, economic, and symbolic purposes. In fact, Russian President Vladimir Putin has made it amply clear that no settlement ending the war can happen without giving Russia full control of the Donbass. But Zelensky too is digging in his heels, sticking to Ukraine's stance on territorial concessions, which the Ukrainian president maintains is very clear and grounded in Ukraine's law and the will of its citizens. In fact, there was no decision on a ceasefire timeline either, raising the big question, will Kyiv and Moscow be able to align positions on territory and timelines? Perhaps a constructive engagement from European partners in the coming phase could ensure the much-needed breakthrough.
Fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.